In this video, you'll learn how to discover, protect, and control your apps with Microsoft Cloud App Security. You'll see how to discover all cloud apps and services in your organization, protect data against suspicious usage, and control user access to corporate resources. In this first exercise, you'll learn how to discover and analyze cloud app usage with Cloud Discovery. Cloud Discovery identifies current cloud apps, provides risk assessments and ongoing analytics, and helps control app use with lifecycle management capabilities. Let's start by creating a snapshot report. On the Cloud App Security homepage, select Discover. Next, select Create Snapshot Report. Snapshot reports provide ad hoc visibility on a set of traffic logs from your organization's firewalls and proxies. This allows you to see traffic at a point in time when trying to sleuth anomalous activities or detect specific datasets that would help pin down threat-based activities. To create a new snapshot report, provide a name. Next, choose the data source appliance. In this case, we're looking for Squid Common. Scroll down and select it. Next, to store and display only encrypted usernames, select the checkbox labeled Anonymize Private Information. To create a snapshot report, you need to upload a file manually into Cloud App Security. Before uploading it, you can verify your log's format. To view a sample log, select View and Verify. Download the sample log, and then close the window. Next, scroll down to choose the traffic log. You can upload up to 20 logs at a time that are a maximum of 1 GB each, and they will parse into their own separate reports. Select Browse to choose a file. For this example, we'll open the sample log we downloaded. Now, create the report. In this case, the report was processed and now shows as Ready. Let's select Ready to view the snapshot report. Here you can start exploring the discovered apps, users, and IP addresses. Scroll up. Now that we've reviewed the report, let's open a new tab in the browser to navigate to the Microsoft Defender Security Center. From here, you can access the Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection, or ATP, security platform for intelligent protection, detection, investigation, and response. Follow the prompts to navigate to the settings for advanced features. You can configure Microsoft Defender ATP to integrate with Microsoft Cloud App Security natively. To enable this feature, scroll down the page. Enabling this integration setting forwards Microsoft Defender ATP signals to Cloud App Security, giving you deeper visibility into both sanctioned cloud apps and shadow IT, as well as the ability to block unauthorized applications when the Custom Network Indicators setting is turned on. Let's enable the integration. It can take up to 2 hours for the data to show up in Cloud App Security after you enable the integration. Now save the preferences. Close the tab to return to Cloud App Security. With Microsoft Defender ATP integration enabled, you can generate continuous reports on a schedule, so you always have up-to-date data from your network. These logs automatically identify anomalous use with either the Anomaly Detection Engine, which is based on machine learning, or by using custom policies defined by your organization. Let's view a continuous report. We'll select Win10 Endpoint Users. At the top of the report, you can see the number of discovered machines added after the integration. You can use the tabs to view the investigation data and find correlations between the machines, users, IP addresses, and apps that were involved in incidents. Let's select the Machines tab. You can drill down into each machine in the list. Here you can see data for the specific machine. Now, let's view the snapshot report we created earlier. After network logs have been parsed, Cloud App Security provides reports on the applications used within the company. On the Cloud Discovery dashboard, Cloud App Security shows a summary of the discovered apps and their risks and categories. Next, select Discovered Apps. This page lists all the discovered apps and their risk scores. Scroll down the page and then select the Office 365 app. Let's view the Info tab. Here you can see the different capabilities of the app assessed by Cloud App Security. A green checkmark indicates an application is sanctioned, which means it's approved and managed by IT. Now let's return to the Discovered Apps page. At the top of the page, let's filter for apps with a risk score between 0 and 3, which are apps considered to be high risk. On the left side of the screen, you can see the different categories of the high-risk apps. Select Cloud Storage to discover high-risk apps used within the company to store files. Let's view the information for the Power Folder app. You can see that the app does not provide auditing or SAML support for SSO capabilities, which is causing the app to be categorized as high risk. Now let's return to the Discovered Apps page. Since these apps are not compliant with the organization's requirements, let's tag them as unsanctioned. To do this, follow the prompts. Once apps are classified, Cloud App Security enables you to block access to unsanctioned apps. You can generate a block script and import it to your appliance to prevent users from accessing those apps. Follow the prompts to generate a block script. Select an appliance to generate the block script for. In this case, we'll select PA Series Firewall. Next, select Generate Script to create a block script for the unsanctioned apps. Let's open the generated script. Here you can see which domains to block to prevent access to the unsanctioned apps. Next, follow the prompts to navigate to the Microsoft Defender ATP settings. With Microsoft Defender ATP integration, you can seamlessly block access to unsanctioned apps in the Cloud App Security portal. Apps marked as unsanctioned in Cloud App Security are automatically synced to Microsoft Defender ATP, usually within a few minutes. Let's block unsanctioned apps and then save the changes. Select Yes to provide consent. Now that we've blocked access to unsanctioned apps, let's generate an executive report about the discovered apps. Let's open the report to review it. This detailed PDF report contains information about the discovered apps, their risks and usage, and recommended actions. This exercise is now complete. In this next exercise, you'll learn how to protect information with Cloud App Security. With Cloud App Security, you can create policies to protect your information in the cloud and lock down files that pose a threat. Let's start by verifying a few prerequisite settings. First, select the Settings button. Next, select App Connectors. App Connectors use the APIs of app providers to enable greater visibility and control by Microsoft Cloud App Security over the apps you connect to. In this case, verify that Office 365 and Box API are connected apps, and then follow the prompts to check the rest of the prerequisites. Scroll down the page and select Azure Information Protection. Here you can see that Azure Information Protection is set to automatically scan new files for Azure Information Protection classification labels and content inspection warnings. Finally, scroll down to Files and ensure the box is checked to enable file monitoring. The checkbox is selected, which enables Cloud App Security to see files in your SaaS apps. Now that we've verified our settings, let's create some policies. The first policy will protect documents containing Social Security numbers. Follow the prompts to get started. The Policies page shows a list of policies that can be filtered by name, type, status, severity, and category. Select Create Policy. Next, select File Policy. File policies are a great tool for finding threats to your information protection policies. For instance, file policies can find places where users stored sensitive information, credit card numbers, and third-party ICAP files in your cloud. Provide a policy name. Next, scroll down to continue configuring the policy. You can create a filter for the files this policy will act on. Follow the prompts to add a filter. We'll filter this policy to act on Box files. Next, select the inspection method. You can choose None, Built-in Data Loss Protection or DLP, or Microsoft Data Classification Service to classify the files in your cloud apps. we'll select Data Classification Service. Next, choose the inspection type. We'll select Sensitive Information Type. To protect files containing sensitive information, you can select custom or default sensitive information types. In this case, the policy will protect documents that contain Social Security numbers, so let's search for SSN. We'll select all of the information types and then select Done. Next, to help us review the results, select Unmask the last 4 characters of a match. Scroll down to continue. We'll also select Create an alert for each matching file. Next, scroll down the page to configure governance actions. Select Box to expand the section. Next, scroll down and select Apply Classification Label. Let's select an Azure Information Protection Classification label to apply to matching files. We'll select Highly Confidential Project, Falcon, and then scroll down to create the policy. The file policy was created successfully. Next, we'll create a session policy for SharePoint. Before we begin, let's sign in and out of SharePoint to create some traffic for our report. Follow the prompts to continue. Sign out of the SharePoint application. Next, sign back in to SharePoint. Now let's return to Cloud App Security to create the session policy. Session policies provide real-time monitoring and control over user activity in your cloud apps. We'll create a session policy to block and protect files on download from SharePoint. Provide a policy name. Next, select the policy severity. We'll select Medium. Next, specify the session control type. You can choose to monitor user sessions, block activities, control file download, or control file upload. In this case, we'll select Control File Download with DLP. Scroll down to continue configuring the policy. You can filter the activities this policy applies to. Let's apply this policy to a specific app. We'll select Microsoft SharePoint Online. Next, scroll down to choose an inspection method. Select Data Classification Service. Next, choose the inspection type. We'll select Sensitive Information Type. In this case, the policy will block and protect downloads of files that contain credit card numbers, so let's search for Credit. Select Credit Card Number, and then select Done. Scroll down to continue configuring the policy. Next, select the action to be applied when a user activity matches the policy: Test, Block, or Protect. We'll select Protect to apply a classification label to downloads and monitor all activities. Next, select an Azure Information Protection Classification label to apply to matching files. We'll select Confidential Finance. Next, scroll down and create the policy. Now that we've successfully created the session policy, let's configure a file policy to quarantine sensitive PDF files that are shared externally. Follow the prompts to create the policy. Provide a policy name and then scroll down the page. Next, specify the filters for this policy. We'll filter the files with access levels of Public, Internet, Public, and External. We'll also filter for files that have a PDF extension. Follow the prompts to create the filter. Next, select the checkbox to create an alert for each matching file, and then scroll down the page. Under Governance Actions, select Box, and then scroll down the page to select the action you want to take. The Admin Quarantine option enables you to protect your files in the cloud and remediate problems, as well as prevent future leaks from occurring. Select Put in Admin Quarantine. Next, scroll down the page and create the policy. Now that we've created the policies, let's test them out. Open a new tab in your browser to go to Box. Follow the prompts to upload files to the site. select the files and then click or tap Open. Now that the files are uploaded, let's share the PDF document. We'll share the file with ourselves using the IT admin email address we're signed in with. Cloud App Security scans sent documents and searches for matches to your policies. Note that the scan can take several minutes to complete. Let's return to Cloud App Security to monitor the evolution of the scan. Follow the prompts to navigate to the Files page. Here you can see all the files discovered by Cloud App Security and if a policy match was discovered. Icons to the right of file names indicate applied governance actions. In this case, the icons indicate that the Azure Information Protection label was applied and that the files were moved to the Quarantine folder. Select the first file to view more details. Here you can see the matched policies and the scan status of the file. Now let's navigate to the Alerts page to view the related alerts. Select the alert to view more information. Scroll down the page to review the alert details. Now let's return to Box. The V2 indicators next to the top two files show there are new versions of these files. The original versions were sent to Quarantine by the file policy. Now let's sign into SharePoint. This message indicates the policy we set is now active. Continue to SharePoint Online. Follow the prompts to navigate to the documents. Select the Northwind Customer Data file. You can see that the file contains sensitive information. Next, select View Policy Tip. The policy tip indicates that default text access to the item is blocked for everyone except its owner, last modifier, and site owner. Now let's close the pane and download the file. Open the file. At the top of the page, you can see the message that we configured when we created the SharePoint policy. Select View Permissions. As expected, the policy authenticated you to view the workbook and labeled the file as Confidential Finance. This exercise is now complete. In this final exercise, you'll learn how to control user access to corporate resources with Conditional Access App Control. Conditional Access App Control enables user app access and sessions to be monitored and controlled in real time based on access and session policies. Conditional Access App Control utilizes a reverse proxy architecture and is uniquely integrated with Azure Active Directory or Azure AD Conditional Access. To get started, follow the prompts to navigate to Azure AD. Under Manage Azure Active Directory, select View. To navigate to the Conditional Access page, scroll down and select Security. Next, select Conditional Access. If you're using Azure AD as your identity provider, you can use Azure AD Conditional Access to enforce access controls on your organization's applications based on certain conditions. Let's create a new conditional access policy. First, provide a name for the policy. Next, specify the users and groups this policy applies to. In this case, we'll apply the policy to all users. Next, specify the cloud apps this policy applies to. You can select all cloud apps in your organization or specific apps. In this case, let's enable this policy for specific apps. To see more Office 365 options, we'll search for Office 365. Let's select Office 365 Exchange Online and Office 365 SharePoint Online. Next, scroll down to specify the access controls to enforce for this policy. You can apply access and session controls to protect data with Conditional Access App Control. In this case, let's apply a session control. To monitor and control sessions in real time, we'll configure this policy to use Conditional Access App Control. Next, choose the specific control policy. You can choose a built-in policy, including monitor only or block downloads, or you can use a custom policy, which needs to be configured in Cloud App Security. In this case, we'll select Use Custom Policy. Next, enable the policy. Now, create the policy. Now that we've successfully created the conditional access policy, we need to set up conditional access app control. Let's sign out of the Azure portal. Here you can see that we've logged into Exchange Online using Outlook. Signing into Outlook enforces the conditional access policy, which redirects the session to Cloud App Security. Now it will be possible to configure conditional access app control for this application. Now let's close the window and return to Cloud App Security. Select the Settings icon. Next, select Conditional Access App Control. You can see that Microsoft Exchange Online appears as a connected application. Next, select Control. Select Policies. The Policies page shows a list of policies that can be filtered by name, type, status, severity, and category. Let's create a new policy. We'll create a session policy for the Microsoft Exchange Online application. Provide a policy name. Next, specify the session control type. In this case, we'll select Control File Download with DLP. Next, scroll down to continue configuring the policy. Let's apply this policy to a specific app. We'll select Microsoft Exchange Online, which is one of the applications we configured the conditional access policy to apply to. Next, scroll down the page and choose an inspection method. We'll select Data Classification Service. Next, choose the inspection type. We'll select Sensitive Information Type. To protect files containing sensitive information, you can select custom or default sensitive information types. In this case, let's search for SSN. We'll select U.S. Social Security Number, SSN, and then select Done. Next, select the action to be applied when a user activity matches the policy. We'll select Block to explicitly block file downloads according to the policy filters we set and to monitor all activities. Next, choose how to notify a user when a file download is blocked. We'll select Customize Block Message. Specify a message. Next, scroll down and create the policy. Now that we've successfully created the session policy, let's sign out of Cloud App Security and test our configuration. Let's sign into Outlook to see how the session policy monitors and controls our activities in real time. Before accessing the application, we're redirected through Cloud App Security and notified that access to Microsoft Exchange Online is monitored. Let's continue to Microsoft Exchange Online. Now let's send a test email to the administrator account we are logged in as. Let's attach sensitive documents to the message. We'll select a Word document containing personal employee information in an Excel spreadsheet. Now send the email. After a few seconds, the email appears in our inbox. Let's select the email to view the attachments. Open the Word document containing personal employee information. As you can see, the document contains employee social security numbers. Let's attempt to download the document. As expected, the session policy blocks the download and triggers an alert in Cloud App Security since this file contains sensitive information. Now let's try to download the Excel spreadsheet. We're able to download the file because it does not contain social security numbers. Now that we've validated the policy configuration, let's return to Cloud App Security. In Cloud App Security, navigate to the Alerts page. Here you can see an alert triggered by our session policy showing that a sensitive file download was blocked. Let's select the alert to view more details. Expand the activity log to view more information. Scroll down. Here you can see that the session control blocked the personal employees information.docx file from being downloaded. You can also see the policy that triggered the alert. To investigate the user activity further, you can choose from a list of actions. Next, select View All User Activity. The activity log now shows all of the user's activities. For example, you can see that the workplaceinnovation.xlsx file was downloaded successfully. Scroll down the page to continue reviewing the activities. Here you can see an icon that indicates the user was redirected to Cloud App Security. This exercise is now complete. You've just learned how to discover all cloud apps and services in your organization, protect data against suspicious usage, and control user access to corporate data. Thanks for watching.